March 28, 1757. The cobblestones of the Place de Grève are slick, coated in a miserable mixture of early spring rain and the heavy, damp steam rising from the flanks of 4 restless stallions. Robert Frynoy Damiens lies lashed to the center of a wooden platform, a man about to become a historical footnote in the grim annals of monarchical retribution. To the thousands of spectators lining the rooftops and balconies, this is more than an execution. It is a ritual of political purgation, the sovereign's wrath made flesh through a theater of supreme agony. They are here for the spectacle of power, for the visceral proof of the law's reach. But if we strip away the veneer of 18th century politics and the grand theater of the scaffold, we are left with a matter of pure, cold biomechanical engineering. The phrase drawn and quartered echoes through the corridors of history as the ultimate sentence of the old regime. Yet, few ask the technical question, what is the mechanical cost of dismantling a human being? To answer this, we must stop viewing the body as a person and begin viewing it as a complex assembly of high-performance biological materials. We are, in essence, an architecture of tensile cables, our ligaments, tendons, and fascia, maintaining a skeletal frame under constant load. Execution, seen through the cold rigor of physics, is nothing more than a multi-directional tensile test. It is a test that, as history records, frequently and spectacularly failed. Why did it take 4 hours for Damiens to die? Why did the horses, 4 high-powered biological engines, fail to overcome the resistance of a single man's frame? The answer lies not in the cruelty of the executioner, but in the extraordinary resilience of human evolution. Before we dissect the microscopic limits of human endurance, if you are fascinated by the scientific how behind history's darkest events, where curiosity meets cold evidence, you belong here. Subscribe to DaVinci Explains. In this channel, we transform visceral horror into rigorous forensic analysis. Join us as we look closer at the things most people turn away from. The method was, in theory, a triumph of simplicity: 4 horses, 4 ropes, and 4 cardinal directions. However, nature is rarely symmetrical. In terms of applied physics, the executioners were facing a catastrophic failure of vector distribution. In a laboratory setting, a tensile test requires perfect alignment to reach the breaking point of a material. On the Place de Grève, you have horses slipping on wet stone, varying rope lengths, and the non-linear resistance of living tissue. When the horses are commanded to pull, the force is not transmitted equitably across the structure. One horse pulls at 10 degrees north of center, another slips, losing its momentum. The first obstacle to overcome is not the muscle, nor the bone. It is the articular capsule. Our joints are held together by dense connective tissue, rich in collagen, one of the most ingenious proteins on the planet. Think of collagen as the rebar of the human machine. It possesses a tensile strength ranging between 50 and 100 megapascals. To dislocate a human hip, an executioner must overcome the structural integrity of this capsule, requiring several thousand newtons of force applied with surgical precision. However, dislocation is merely the prologue. Total separation, the complete detachment of a limb, demands an effort that is exponentially greater than any simple joint failure. What history often ignores is that horses are biological systems, not hydraulic presses. A draft horse can exert a significant start-stop pull, but they tire rapidly under a sustained static load. Furthermore, they do not pull in perfect straight lines. A deviation of a mere 5 degrees in a force vector can neutralize tons of traction, as the body's own skeletal geometry realigns to absorb the stress. The executioners weren't just fighting a man, they were fighting the very laws of trigonometry and the anisotropic nature of human tissue, where the strength of the material changes drastically depending on the direction of the pull. Let us dissect the tendon. The human tendon is a high-performance power transmission cable, a biological equivalent to a carbon fiber tether. It can withstand loads that frequently exceed 50 newtons before reaching its ultimate failure point. Imagine a passenger car suspended by a single cable of human tissue. The physics dictate that it would hold. The tendon's secret lies in its hierarchy: bundles within bundles, designed to dissipate energy and resist the very rupture the horses are attempting to induce. Forensic science shows us that the human frame is a masterpiece of resilience, more durable than even the most brutal designs of punishment. If you value this level of technical deconstruction, stripped of cheap sensationalism, hit the like button. It helps DaVinci Explains continue to bring these high-definition autopsies of history to life. Are you subscribed? You should be. The epidermis, or the skin, was the executioner's true adversary. It is not merely a covering, it is a high-tenacity casing. It possesses an extremely high modulus of elasticity, designed by millions of years of evolution to absorb impact and maintain structural cohesion. Without prior incisions into the deep fascia, the connective tissue enveloping the muscles, the force required to tear a human limb would exceed the maximum traction 4 animals could generate in a single burst. History records that during the execution of Damiens, the horses eventually reached their limit. The system entered a state of static equilibrium. The horses were at their maximum wattage and the body was in its plastic deformation phase, stretching and yielding, but not failing. To break the stalemate, the Carrasco had to act as a force multiplier. By using a blade to score the skin and the primary tendons, he was creating what engineers call stress risers. In materials science, a stress riser is a point where the stress is concentrated, making the material much more likely to fail at that specific location. By notching the body, the executioner bypassed the biological limits of the casing. He was essentially telling the physics of the horses where to focus their energy. Only then did the stress-strain curve reach its catastrophic end. But here is the part history omits: the bone itself rarely broke. The failure was almost always in the soft tissue. The quartering was not a breaking of bones, but a systematic tearing of the biological web. Beyond the mechanical failure, we must address the suffering through the lens of neurology. Consider the shoulder joint, a complex ball and socket configuration. When stretched to its limit, a phenomenon occurs known as the synovial vacuum. The negative pressure within the joint adds an additional layer of resistance. The body literally holds on at a molecular level. At this stage, the victim is experiencing total nociceptive disorientation. The nervous system is flooded with a volume of electrical input so massive that the brain's sensory processing centers reach a state of absolute saturation. The result is neurogenic shock, a systemic collapse where the heart and lungs struggle to function under the sheer weight of the neural feedback. We are looking at a biological machine screaming as its internal homeostasis is ripped apart by external entropy. By dissecting the mechanics of the quartering, we seek not to shock, but to find the technical truth of our own existence. The medieval executioner was a primitive engineer attempting to bypass biology. The human body, in turn, was a biological system fighting against entropy until the final millisecond. To study this is to study the limits of our own architecture. We are governed by the same fundamental laws that rule steel and concrete. Our internal structure is a triumph of resilience, a design so optimized that it took hours of coordinated effort and the intervention of external tools to overcome it. Even in the moment of its intended destruction, the human body proves that it is a system designed to remain whole. History remembers the horror, science remembers the resilience. The truth lies at the exact point where force meets fiber. The transition from a who to a what is not a sudden snap, but a terrifyingly slow slide down the slope of thermodynamic failure. It reminds us that we are, at our core, an incredibly well-built machine. Knowledge is the only tool capable of illuminating the darkest eras of our past. If you followed this forensic journey, you are now part of a community that values depth over drama. Subscribe to DaVinci Explains for more technical dissections of history, and share this video with those who seek the science behind the myth. Stay curious, stay rigorous. Until the next analysis.